Hey, this is Jason with TradingReviewers.com, and today we're joined by Max, founder of the popular Madaz Money day trading community. Max, welcome.
Well, thanks, Jason. Thanks for having me.
Max, before we get started, I wanted to congratulate you on your massive day today, which from what I understand is a personal record. Can you briefly tell us a little bit about today, the setups you traded, the tickers you traded, and also the most important part, what your daily P&L looked like?
Wow. I mean, your timing is impeccable, honestly, to have this call today on a day where I have my best trading day of all time. But today was definitely crazy. That's the best way I can describe it. The ticker of the day was U1UONE, and that one, I mean, if you just pulled up a chart and just take a look at it, I mean, that tells a story in itself, right? It was a big time short squeeze. And, at the open, it looked like it was one of those stocks that would just fade off into oblivion, typical small cap stock. Everyone thinks it's fundamentally just going nowhere. And next thing you know, it traps a bunch of shorts and it takes off, and it goes from, I think it was like 13, and then it goes to 15, to next thing you know, it goes to 20, and then 25. It's like, when is this going to end, And I think it hit a high like $40, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, while that's a very irrational move, we all know the market is capable of very irrational behavior. I mean, that spells opportunity for guys like me, right? So, I got in on the long side multiple occasions, and I was up already like about $50,000 in the morning on the short side, mainly of U1. I traded another ticker, MCEP, but U1 in the afternoon. I did not expect to get that kind of opportunity. I did not, think that I was going to have a six-figure day today. So, I thought that, hey, $50,000, that's a pretty good day as it is. And then I wake up and I see this thing going bonkers. I'm like, whoa, okay, all right, I'll take it, and then it just jumped in and just rode the wave, man. Rode the wave all the way up to wherever it was, $40, and I had another like $50,000 to the day. So finished total officially, I think about $104,000. So that's a personal record for me. Yeah.
Yeah, huge congratulations. That was a massive squeeze. All bets are off. I mean, when you get into a short squeeze situation, it's hard to find the top sometimes. They can just keep going. So huge congratulations. And yeah, I'm excited to be able to chat with you on your personal record day. It's an honor. Can you tell us a little bit about your trading background? How did you originally become interested in trading?
Yeah, so I have a very interesting story with regards to how I got started. So when I first found out about day trading, it was through a coworker. I told this story before, but it was a coworker who showed up to work with a really nice car, and I knew how much he was making. I knew how much I was making. We were working in the same department. I'm like, something doesn't add up here. He's doing something. I don't know if he's doing something shady or he's doing something, whatever, right? But I went ahead and asked him, and he told me that he bought a bunch of BP stock during the oil spill. They had that, the Deepwater Horizon incident, and made like $80,000 over the summer. I used it to buy a Lotus Elise. And I was like, man, I want in on that, because at that time I was making $18 an hour. So I was like, it might be kind of nice to make $80,000 over the summer. So that's how I got into it. And up to that point, I actually had no idea how to even buy a stock. I didn't know how to even open a brokerage account. So that's a crazy thing, I mean, the furthest extent of my stock market knowledge was just freaking AP economics in high school. That's the last I heard, basic supply and demand and all that stuff, right? But that was a very fortunate incident. I met that coworker, and that never would have thought that would have been the day where I would end up doing this now 9.5 years later. It's crazy how life works like that.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background in terms of your trading education? What resources did you use in the beginning to learn from? Who's inspired you and or mentored you along the way?
So I actually learned largely from myself, self-taught. And to be completely honest with you, I really wish that I had somebody to guide me. So that friend that that got me into trading, I quickly found out over the next couple of months. He woke up in the morning with me, and we Skyped and we tried to trade and stuff. And I quickly realized he didn't know what he was doing. He was trying to teach me how to trade on like delayed quotes and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't seem right. So I had to venture off on my own and good old Google, Investopedia and all that stuff. But I had to learn a lot on my own. And, looking back at it, I really wish that I had, somebody to just walk me by the hand, because I probably would have accelerated my learning curve greatly, and I would have probably gotten there a lot sooner. But, in hindsight, looking back at it, given where I am today and how far I've gotten a lot more, I feel more appreciative of how I've gotten here up to this point, and the work I've put in. But yeah, I mean, I've read some books, Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, great book. Anything by Mark Douglas. Trading Psychology, I feel like, is probably like the majority of what separates you from being a successful trader over the long term versus, somebody who doesn't make it, or somebody who just makes it for like a couple months and they just kind of fade off. So I focus a lot and emphasize a lot on trading psychology, and I do a lot of things to strengthen my mindset. I feel like anyone can memorize a chart pattern or memorize or learn how to use indicators. I mean, it's pretty simple stuff, but when it comes to actually being in the hot seat and, delivering the results when it matters, that's tough, so that's what I focus on mainly.
Can you tell us a little bit about your approach? I mean, obviously you're a day trader and specifically a scalper. Is that an approach that you were instantly drawn to in the beginning, or is that something that you eventually settled on after experimenting with other trading styles?
Yeah. So at the beginning, obviously you're just bouncing around here and there and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. Right. So, I dabbled in swing trading. I did options trading. I did all that stuff, but scalping naturally gravitated to me because, I'm naturally a very impatient person. That isn't going to change. So, I'm the kind of guy that wants to get in and I want my money now. So scalping was the easiest way to adhere to that. And, it just came natural to me. And I just feel like when it comes to trading, you want to find that style that suits you, personality wise. And it's not like you're fitting a square into a circle, right? So you want to make sure that everything just feels natural. Everything just feels like it's second nature. You're not, forced too much out of your comfort zone to the point where you're like, you have to reinvent the wheel. You know what I mean? So for me personally, scalping was pretty much the way I was. It just was me already. And, as a result of that, I was able to, just master it, quicker than say another type of style of trading.
And how long did it take you to become consistently profitable in the beginning?
It took me about a year to at least get the gist of what was going on. Now, I wouldn't say I was consistently profitable to the point where I would be comfortable, trading as a sole source of income. That took me 3 years. But overall, it was not something that was an overnight, kind of thing, right? It wasn't like I just flipped the switch and I just got it. It was just a lot of screen time, a lot of just iterative process and figuring stuff out here and there and tweaking and stuff like that. And yeah, it took about a good 3 years. That was when I finally decided that I was going to do it full time.
And when you got started, were you paper trading or did you go live right away?
I went live right away. Now, if I look at it in hindsight, I would say that you should paper trade because you should learn the platform and you don't hit the wrong button and stuff like that. And you should figure out a lot of the things that you don't want to be risking real money on yet by going live, right? But I did go live right away. Part of my impatient nature, I guess. But yeah, if I were to give a new trader advice, I would always say to go paper trade first.
Yeah, and you've obviously mentored a lot of new traders. How long would you advise the typical brand new trader to paper trade before going live?
That's a very difficult question. It really depends on the person. People learn at different speeds, and I feel like if you feel comfortable enough such that you understand the platform, you understand the concepts, then you could probably go live, but it's still, an incremental process, right? You shouldn't go from like 0 to 100. So you want to start off like small positions and stuff like that. To put a time duration on it, it's kind of tough. For some people, they can do it in maybe a couple months. Some people might take a year. It just depends on how comfortable you feel, right? Some people actually paper trade and all right, I'm good to go. And then they jump into it and they're like, oh, no, never mind. Gotta slam the brakes. That happens too. And there's no shame in that, as long as you get there in the end, that's all that really matters.
Do you recall the details of your biggest trade? Was today your biggest trade ever? I mean, it was your biggest day, obviously, but in terms of your biggest trade?
No, today was not my biggest trade. Today collectively was my biggest day. My biggest trade was actually, I think, couple I think it was last week. I don't remember which trade it was because there was so many big trades, but it's thrown in the mix there. I mean, the market's been crazy, right? I mean, I've had several $40,000 trades, $50,000 trades. I think the big trade was like a $60,000 trade or something like that. They're all basically the same type of trade, just over and over again with the multitude of opportunities the market's been giving us the last couple of weeks. So, it's a rush, man. Sometimes you just don't even process what the heck's going on until after you've gotten like an hour or two to recompose yourself and be like, wow, that actually happened.
Was it JFIN by any chance?
I think it might have been. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so.
Yeah,
think
that
so.
one went nuts last week.
Yeah, JFIN was very much like U1 today. You know, it was a short squeeze. It was a stock that everyone thought was, was done. And that's the perfect storm for a short squeeze. You know, everyone's piling on the short side, and next thing you know, it's off to the races.
What about your worst trade? It's a topic a lot of people don't like to discuss, but it's important to discuss that. And also, what type of impact did that have on your trading going forward?
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I have a couple of examples. So one taught me a really good lesson. It was this one trade. I don't quite remember the ticker symbol, but I was stuck in a halt, and I actually ended up making money on one of the halts. But there was another trade where I was stuck in a halt, and I think it was MNK. Okay, MNK, Mellencrots. Okay, so I think they were the stock was tanking for whatever reason. I forgot. It was kind of like, if you remember how VRX was tanking, MNK was tanking for like kind of like a similar reason. And then basically what happened was the stock was just free falling. I got short, and I was up pretty nicely. And then the stock halted, and I was like, I'm just going to hold through the halt. And, I'm probably going to be able to cover on the resumption. It's probably going to gap down, probably going to make a nice little profit, right? Next thing you know, the halt turns into a circuit breaker halt, turns into a T1 news halt. And, just my luck, the news ends up being positive news. It was a defense released by the company. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. The stock actually gaps up like $7. So I think I ended up losing like $70,000 on that trade. After at one point I was up like 30. So it was a pretty brutal like reversal of fortune there, a twist of fate, if you will. It just messes with your emotions, right? You're like thinking you're about to collect a hefty sum of money, and then next thing you know, nope. My lesson there is from that point on, I've been deathly afraid of halts, because when you're in a halt situation, literally anything can happen. Things that may appear to go in your favor. You never know, right? Things can they could release news. They could pull some sort of shenanigans out of their sleeve. And next thing you know, you're at the mercy of the market again. So the rule of thumb for me is personally, as long as you have more control over what's going on, then you're fine. But if you're relinquishing that control by, holding stuff overnight or holding, through a halt, things of that nature, then you're kind of like exposing yourself to that risk, right? So you just got to be aware of that and be mindful of it.
Yeah, it goes both ways. You can get a big gap in your favor, or you can get a big gap against you. So
exactly,
it's a roll of the dice. How many hours a day do you work on average, and what does your typical day look like?
So I try to keep it around like 2 to 4 hours, maybe less, but recently haven't really had much time. But you know what? I'm not going to complain. It's been pretty insane. I've been working pretty much the whole day, sometimes even after hours, because things are running after hours. But yeah, I try to keep it within. I'm a big proponent of trading when the edge is high. When you have the opportunities to make the easy trade. As we all know, the morning is when usually most of the volume takes place, when most of the price action is volatile. And for a day trader like me, that's when I would thrive, right? And then progressively throughout the day, things kind of die down a little bit. The volume kind of diminishes, and usually that means that there's less opportunities. But recently, the whole day has been just pretty active, to say the least. So I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, it's been a busy time, a lot of volatility. Well, let's transition over to talk about the community that you've built a little bit, Madaz Money. What would you say inspired you to start the community and to build that?
Well, I've always been creating content to help others, help new traders, because I always understand how difficult it's been to from my experience to get started, right? It's, trading, we all know the statistic, right? 90% of traders fail. So I want to, give back to the community in that sense, because, trading has done a lot for me, and I kind of see like all these other traders are struggling, and, I just feel like, if I have the power to help them, make their life a little bit easier, uh, I would do it. So for the longest time, I created a lot of content on YouTube. I've been trading videos on YouTube, I think since 2013 or something like that. I've been writing blogs for several years, and, after a certain point, my following, it got pretty high. And as a result of that, I couldn't, I didn't have the resources to, to handle all the inquiries I was getting. And I felt like creating the community allowed me to kind of centralize everything. I have the website, I have the room, people can reach out to me in one place, as opposed to, okay, there's a guy here that's reaching out to me on Twitter. There's another guy reaching out to me on email. There's a guy reaching out to me on Instagram or whatever. So now it's all centralized, right? Now people can go to MadazMoney.com. They can view all the videos, all the blogs. They can talk to me. They can listen to me live trade on the air every single day on the mic. They could ask me questions while I'm trading. It's very interactive. And I just feel like it's a very hands-on experience that everyone finds a lot of value in. And I'm very happy with the way it's turned out so far.
Yeah, you've done a great job with the community. There's a lot of resources packed into there. The support is amazing, and also the video library is a huge asset. There's so much good content in there. It's a perfect situation for a brand new trader. They can come on, and it's very affordably priced. It's a great way for a brand new trader to come on and get a good foundation right from the very beginning. So I think you've done a really nice job on the community itself. What would you say are the main things that set Madaz Money apart from some of the other day trading chat rooms that are online? Because obviously there are quite a few.
Definitely the interactive hands-on experience. We've had several people come from other chat rooms and join ours, and they're here to stay. And one of the main things that I hear is the fact that we're very, very hands-on with our members. I pride myself in my abilities to respond to each and every single person's DMs every single day. Even, everyone knows, even when I'm halfway around the world on vacation, somewhere in Europe or in Hawaii, I'm still gonna answer people's DMs. I like helping people, and the live mic sessions, I'm calling out my trades live on the mic. It's a lot more faster than, reading words in a chat log. I just feel like overall, I've really catered the experience to somebody who really wants to just be immersed in that environment, that learning environment, where they can really not only just be a part of the community, but actually, interact with the moderators, interact with myself, and just fully just feel like they're really, really learning and using all the resources that we're providing them in the best way possible to help them succeed.
How did you meet the other guys that are helping you run the community?
Twitter, mainly on Twitter. I met Micah on Twitter a couple years back, and then I met Lucas through Micah, and then Anthony actually reached out to me on Instagram. So they're all really great guys. Definitely give them a follow on social media. They're all very special in their own way, and really proud to have them on the team.
What do you enjoy most about being involved in the trading industry?
The financial freedom, the ability to work from anywhere, the ability to just meet so many people that have different approaches to still achieve the same goal. I think that's very interesting. Trading, there's no one right or wrong way, right? So there's multiple people that, do this style, or maybe they take a certain approach that I wouldn't have thought of. And it's just very interesting to see all of these in action, especially in the community. We got several different guys that trade different styles, and in the end, we're all after that paycheck, right? And it's really cool to just see all these guys figure out these new innovative ways to extract money from the market.
Yeah, it's obviously such a big blessing right now, particularly when so many people are shut in, locked down, unable to work, unable to earn an income.
Mm-hmm.
To have the ability, like you said, to sit there from literally anywhere in the world on a laptop and generate massive daily P&Ls like you're turning out is just a very unique position. We're almost out of time today, Max, but there's one more thing I wanted to ask you about. Do you have anything new planned in terms of new resources or features for the Madaz Money community?
We do have a lot coming up. Unfortunately, I cannot reveal them at this time, but believe me, we do have a lot of things in the works. We're going to expand and add some new stuff. We have some new guys in the room that are helping out create content, and they're, giving us new ideas and hosting webinars for us and providing a different insight into, ways to trade and ways to make money in the market. We're growing our team basically. So we're growing our team, which means we're going to expand, and we're going to introduce a lot of new stuff. So exciting times ahead for Madaz Money, but unfortunately this time it's still a secret.
That's no problem. Looking forward to seeing what you unveil here in the near future. Well, that does it for our interview today with Max, founder of Madaz Money. Max, thanks for coming on and taking the time to tell us a little bit more about yourself and the community. We're certainly excited to continue following the progress of your personal trading journey and also the Madaz Money community going forward. So that's it for today, everyone. Until next time, happy trading.